One.
The ability to communicate is our greatest tool. As we mature physically, mentally, and emotionally, our communication style does as well. As I am presenting today, think of a toolbox. All of the tools that we need for communication are stored in there. Our listening skills, our speaking skills, our ways that we communicate and interact, all in that toolbox. Everyone has these sets of tools developed differently, and everyone's approach to developing their tools is different as well. Today, I will be talking about 3 assets to my toolbox: gender listening differences as a notebook, perception checking as a set of glasses, and conflict management as a hammer. The first communication tool that I have put in is gender listening differences. I compare gender listening differences to a notebook because understanding each other requires documentation of these differences and being able to call back on them later. When communication between men and women lacks understanding, the relationship will suffer. Just like when keeping track of important information, staying informed is critical. According to Corey Floyd, we are all categorized as masculine, feminine, or androgynous, and based on our culture's view of gender, we perceive information differently from gender to gender. Floyd explains that culture can be masculine or feminine dominant, meaning that certain values will be prioritized higher than others. In highly masculine culture, achievement and ambition are highly valued, while in feminine culture, quality of life and service to others is highly prioritized. As the only daughter in a family with a mom, grandmother, brother, and dad, I am constantly adjusting to how I listen. I was playing a video game, and one of the characters has a skin-tight bodysuit. My mother had made a comment on this character's outfit, saying that the character is being sexualized. While I understood where she was coming from, I didn't see it as an issue. This character isn't real, and she is over the age of 18, so it shouldn't really matter. Besides, she was a fully covered character. While my brother had started telling her that she was the one sexualizing the character by bringing it up. I understood her perspective as a woman to be sexualized in media, and that tends to make women uncomfortable. But I saw it as being alright since she had full covering and she was not a minor. My brother saw my mother's point as trying to make a problem out of nothing, since he and myself were focusing on playing the game rather than the visual aesthetics of a character. My 2 specific communication action steps center around seeking clarity when I'm thinking gender listening differences are a concern. I'll ask my friends, classmates, or family, what is your take on this topic? I will adopt the phrase, I may think differently, but I would like to hear your point of view. The most basic and important human need is mutual understanding. Listening requires others' perspectives being respected and presented as we would want our own to be. The second communication tool I have put in my toolbox is perception checking. I compare perception checking as to wearing glasses. In every interaction, we are looking through our own set of glasses, which include our culture, values, beliefs, and life experiences. We must be able to take off our own glasses and analyze our own and others' perceptions. Whether you believe it or not, we are constantly engaging in perception, especially interpersonal perception. Interpersonal perception is engaged in our relationships, whether they be romantic, platonic, or familial. We all long to be understood, and perception checking helps us increase our knowledge of ourselves and others. Telling the other person, I want to better understand you, communicates interest and concern. As an employee of a Cuban food truck, I see people come up every day asking questions. Once, I had an older woman come up and read our menu. She asked if any of our menu items were spicy, which they are not. Though looking through my employee glasses, I considered this to be a dumb question. I had to stop and remind myself that she probably never had Cuban food before, or anything off of our truck specifically, and should not get upset over such a question. Needless to say, putting on the customer glasses changed my perception. My specific communication action steps will center on me taking off my own perceptual glasses. I will ask my family, friends, or classmates, walk me through your thought process on blank. My new phrase will be, let me see this through your blank glasses. Perception checking requires time and patience, much like conflict management would. The third communication tool I've put in my toolbox is conflict management framing. I compare it to a hammer. Effective conflict management can help build and secure a strong foundation of communication and solve many problems. But ineffective conflict management can hammer down and destroy even the most solid relationship. Researchers DeWolf and Bowen, Journal of Applied Behavioral Science, explained that the way we interpret and frame on conflict can greatly affect the way we experience it. Framing impacts communication choices we make to manage conflict. Oftentimes, we all frame conflict so differently, it's hard to see others' viewpoints. Once in middle school, I had a problem with a bully. It was my 6th grade year. After a whole year of her nagging me, harassing me, she pushed my last buttons and I told her off. This student then got up and tried to get in my face to start a fight. Thankfully, another classmate came to intervene and got us both to stay on the opposite sides of the room. To be fair, both of us in the conflict were a bit on edge, but I did my best to try not to fight her. My specific communication action steps for conflict management will center on the think strategy. I will ask myself if what I'm about to do is going to be helpful or just hurtful. Practice verbal discipline when I interact and get into conflict, and just breathe, relax. In conclusion, communication is the ultimate tool for survival, success, and satisfaction. Specifically, I have become more aware of my gender listening skills, perception checking, and conflict management. I plan to continue sharpening these tools in my communication toolbox. Communication improvement is a lifetime project that we must constantly work at. Remember, communication works for those who will be willing to work at it.
Thank you.